The Saab JAS-39 Gripen is a light single-engine multirole fighter aircraft manufactured by the Swedish aerospace company Saab. The Gripen has a delta wing and canard configuration with relaxed stability design and fly-by-wire flight controls. Various versions have been built, grouped as A, C and E series. In 1979, the Swedish government began development studies for an aircraft capable of fighter, attack, and reconnaissance missions to replace the Saab 35 Draken and 37 Viggen in the Swedish Air Force. A new design from Saab was selected and developed as the JAS-39, and entered service with the Swedish Air Force in 1996. To market the aircraft internationally, Saab formed partnerships and collaborative efforts with overseas aerospace companies, including, in 2001, BAE Systems. On the export market, early models of the Gripen achieved moderate success in sales to nations in Central Europe, South Africa, and Southeast Asia. The Gripen is a multirole fighter aircraft, intended as a lightweight and agile aerial platform with advanced, highly adaptable avionics. It has canard control surfaces that contribute a positive lift force at all speeds, while the generous lift from the delta wing compensates for the rear stabilizer, producing negative lift at high speeds, increasing induced drag. The Gripen also has good short takeoff performance, being able to maintain a high sink rate and strengthened to withstand the stresses of short landings. A pair of air brakes are located on the sides of the rear fuselage. The canards also angled downward to act as air brakes and decrease landing distance. To enable the Gripen to have a long service life, roughly 50 years, Saab designed it to have low maintenance requirements. Major systems such as the RM-12 engine and PS-05 radar are modular to reduce operating cost and increase reliability. The Gripen was designed to be flexible, so that newly developed sensors, computers, and armaments could be integrated as technology advances. The aircraft was estimated to be roughly 67% sourced from Swedish or European suppliers and 33% from the US. The Gripen is typically customized to customer requirements, enabling the routine inclusion of local suppliers in the manufacturing and support processes. Operators also have access to the Gripen source code and technical documentation, allowing for upgrades and new equipment to be independently integrated. Some export customers intend to domestically assemble the Gripen. All of the Gripen's avionics are fully integrated using 5 MILSTD digital data buses, in what is described as sensor fusion. Sensor fusion is the ability to bring together inputs from multiple radars, lidars and cameras to form a single model or image of the environment around a vehicle. Much of the data generated from the onboard sensors and by cockpit activity is digitally recorded throughout the length of an entire mission. This information can be replayed in the cockpit or easily extracted for detailed post-mission analysis using a data transfer unit that can also be used to insert mission data to the aircraft. The Gripen entered service using the Pulse Doppler X-band multi-mode radar, developed by Ericsson and GEC Marconi. The all-weather radar is capable of locating and identifying targets 120 kilometers away, and automatically tracking multiple targets in the upper and lower spheres, on the ground and sea or in the air. It can guide several beyond visual range air-to-air missiles to multiple targets simultaneously. The primary flight controls are compatible with the hands-on throttle and stick control principle. The centrally mounted stick, in addition to flying the aircraft, also controls the cockpit displays and weapon systems. A triplex, digital fly-by-wire system is employed on the Gripen's flight controls, with a mechanical backup for the throttle. Additional functions, such as communications, navigational and decision support data, can be accessed via the up-front control panel, directly above the central cockpit display. The Gripen includes the EP-17 cockpit display system, developed by Saab to provide pilots with a high level of situational awareness and reduces pilot workload through intelligent information management. All in-service Gripens as of January 2014 are powered by a Volvo RM12 turbofan engine. The Volvo RM12 is a low-bypass afterburning turbofan jet engine developed for the Saab JAS-39 Gripen fighter. It has a greater reliability for single-engine operations, including a better tolerance to bird strikes, increased thrust, and the adoption of a full-authority digital engine control system. Several subsystems and components were also redesigned to reduce maintenance demands. The air intakes of the engine were designed to minimize radar reflection from the engine fan, reducing the radar cross-section of the aircraft overall. The aircraft is compatible with a number of different armaments, beyond the aircraft's single 27mm Mauser Bk-27 cannon, including air-to-air missiles such as the AIM-9 Sidewinder, air-to-ground missiles such as the AGM-65 Maverick, and anti-ship missiles such as the RBS-15. In flight, the Gripen is typically capable of carrying up to 6,500 kilograms or 14,330 pounds of assorted armaments and equipment. The Gripen has an advanced and integrated electronic warfare suite, capable of operating in an undetectable passive mode or to actively jam hostile radar. A missile approach warning system passively detects and tracks incoming missiles. The Swedish Air Force placed a total order for 204 Gripens in 3 batches. When the Czech Republic became a NATO member in 1999, the need to replace their existing Soviet-built MiG-21 fleet with aircraft compatible with NATO interoperability standards became apparent. And in December 2001, having reportedly been swayed by Gripen International's generous financing and offset program, the Czech government announced that the Gripen had been selected. Following Hungary's membership of NATO in 1999, there were several proposals to achieve a NATO-compatible fighter force. Considerable attention went into studying second-hand aircraft options as well as modifying the nation's existing MiG-29 fleet. In 2001, Hungary received several offers of new and used aircraft from various nations, including Sweden, Belgium, Israel, Turkey, and the US. Although the Hungarian government initially intended to procure the F-16, and in November 2001 it was in the process of negotiating a 10-year lease contract for 12 Gripen aircraft, with an option to purchase the aircraft at the end of the lease period. In 1999, South Africa signed a contract with Saab for the procurement of 26 Gripens with minor modifications to meet their requirements. In 2007, Thailand's parliament authorized the Royal Thai Air Force to spend up to $1.1 billion as part of an effort to replace Thailand's existing Northrop F-5 fleet. In February 2008, the Thai Air Force ordered 6 Gripens from Saab. Then ordered 6 more Gripen C in November 2010, and may eventually order as many as 40 Gripens. The Empire Test Pilot School in the United Kingdom has used the Gripen for advanced fast jet training of test pilots under a wet lease arrangement since 1999. It operates a Gripen D aircraft. In October 2008, Brazil selected 3 finalists for its FX-2 fighter program: the Dassault Rafale, the Boeing Super Hornet, and the Gripen. The Brazilian Air Force initially planned to procure at least 36 and possibly up to 120 later, to replace its Northrop and Dassault Mirage aircraft. In February 2009, Saab submitted a tender for 36 Gripen. In early 2010, the Brazilian Air Force's final evaluation report reportedly placed the Gripen ahead, a decisive factor being lower unit cost and operational costs. Amid delays due to financial constraints, there were reports in 2010 of the Rafale selection, and in 2011 of the FA-18 selection. On the 18th of December 2013, President Dilma Rousseff announced the Gripen selection. Key factors were domestic manufacturing opportunities, full transfer of technology and participation in its development.